Thank you, Mr. Satish, and thank you, CII, for the opportunity to talk about driving digital transformation. So, I just wanted to confirm if my presentation is visible and also my voice is audible. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks again for the opportunity, and thank you all the patrons of virtual conference on Textiles 4.0. So my objective today, just a quick an introduction as also spoken by Satish, is that we run a digital consulting platform on helping MSMEs across India and help them to connect with global digital experts. That's what our focus is on. And I am a PSG alumni as well as INSEAD's alumni as well. And my focus is mainly on digital transformation and how SMEs and micro industries can benefit out of transforming their business digitally. So that's the domain of interest for me as well. So with that quick introduction, let me just start off with if there is a possibility for the participants to respond in a chat box. What comes to your mind when you hear the word digital transformation? So if there is a possibility, if we can have a quick way to have the participant respond, it's fine. Otherwise, it's okay. So what comes to your mind if you when you hear the word anything? I mean, the digital transformation. Great. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Great, great. Thank you. I think by and large, these are the things which will be seeing. I'm sure that when we hear the words like digital transformation, we hear that words like ERP, cloud, data, IoT, e-commerce, 3D printing, and big data, and all of them are right as well. So there is no doubt about it, but they are like partially, because I'm sure that in our country the story of a blind man going and then looking for the elephant, and based on which part of the elephant they have a touch and feel, they think that either it's a snake or a rope, and so on and so forth. And today digital transformation is also understood in the same context in a piecemeal way. But digital transformation has to be looked at in a holistic context. And that is where we cannot really look at it purely from a technology point of view, because digital has two components. One is a transformation, and the other one is digital. So in that note, what is digital transformation? So this is what my thought process is. There are two aspects to it. One is digital transformation means is that it is to be coming up with a vision and strategy which will transform the business and execute them using the technologies for exponential growth. So the first aspect of it is coming up with a vision and strategy and then leveraging with digital technology. It's not the other way around. So the technologies are only the means. And second aspect is that digital transformation is also about thinking about how this technology can be integrated with all aspects of the business so that the revenue growth or cost reduction and profitability increase can be achieved. What does that mean is that when you need to undergo a digital transformation, what are the important facts, important facets that need to be looked at is that one need to understand what's happening around your business, how the business environment is changing, and based on what you have to think about what are the new value creation possibilities. It could be new product, or what are the ways you can reduce the cost, or what are the new technologies or new strategies that you need to use to achieve your business goals. And also it has to create a significant positive impact for all the stakeholders. It's not just for your customers or the shareholders or employees, but for everybody in the your ecosystem. And each of the transformation initiative should be 10x more. It's not an incremental, because digital has an capability to produce 10x. So if your initiative is not producing 10x efficient results, then it's not really effective as well. So this is what is the at a high level from the business domain perspective we I consider as digital transformation. So I'm sure that textile value chain. I'm sure majority of the people from different parts of the value chain are present in this corporate conference, from cotton production to ginning, spinning, weaving, and garmenting as well. But there's always a one question comes into picture. Hey, my business is small, or my business is doing well or okay. Is it applicable to my company? Or there is also another question that comes to mind. Yeah, it is applicable to me, but it must be costly. My company can't afford, because these are all the things. Digital transformation is to be only done by the large company with a huge amount of investments and long time to run the project. Or even that I can probably allocate some budget, but it's a complex, and we are in a remote place, and we are in a very small town, and we don't have enough resources internally to drive the thing, or I don't even have an access, because if there is any problem in future, I will not be in a position to access expertise to help me support in any of the initiatives. So these are the questions that could be arising in many people's mind. My objective today would be to, in the next 20 minutes or so, to see that how textile industry as such can or need to be adapted for digital transformation, which addresses the why part of it. The second one is about how it is affordable, which I would try to address through a few case or a real life example, which is in your industry as well as in general business, as well as to how it can be affordable. I will try to address. And third is that how easy or how accessible or how you should think about the overall digital transformation as such. So these are the three things I would try my best to help you rethink that one textile industry of different sizes should go in for digital transformation. So, why digital transformation? Or am I ready for a digital transformation? Is my organization ready for a digital transformation? This is the first question majority of the people or majority of the organization goes through. So, what I would recommend is that we don't really need a complex assessment or complex thought process or kind of different levels of study to understand. Just having a very broad view of your business and having to understand these six key factors. So let me just spend few minutes on this. One is your industry consistently having declining profit? Is your organization in the last few years is going through a declining, is where there is a squeeze on increase in the cost, or where there is a squeeze on the margin? This is one factor for you to consider whether you need to transform your business. The second one is that you might also see that there can be new players emerging, or the way you are interacting with different supply chain partners could be changing. There are new the industry structure changes are happening. This could be the second reason when which can influence you to transform digitally. This doesn't really require a specific textile industry aspect, because you are in the business, and you as a business owner or the senior leader can think about it and then see, based on your interaction with your customers, based on what you consume as the news, you can always get to understand as well. The third part is that the technology change, the pace of technology, as my the speaker before me talked about the various technology which is changing, and then how the textile manufacturing is is happening. It has an impact, and if you're going to be not adapting these changes, naturally you will be falling behind as well. And the fourth part is that is your organization is consistently underperforming, not really able to achieve the business goals for whatsoever reason. It can be, we can always put certain situations on some business climate is not good or what, but when it happens on a consistent basis, it's definitely a candidate for you to think about what can be fixed by rethinking using digital transformation. And sometimes what also happens is that a new player or a new leader comes in with a different and fresh thinking as well, and he thinks that let me not really wait for somebody to start some new initiatives, but rather I will be the leader, not the follower. So he would be able to launch certain initiatives which can definitely change the the overall equations of competitiveness in your in your industry as well. And finally, the crisis like COVID, and I'm sure that in the last 18 months, majority of the business which were brick and mortar and also which were not really online had a huge challenges and giving a lot of owners sleepless nights because they were not really not digitally enabled. So these are some of the factors. If two or more factors are influencing your organizations, and if you're able to look at it, and you don't really need an external people to look about it and then give you a recommendation, if any of these factors are influencing your business performance, it's the time for you to consider thinking about how to transform your business and also leveraging technologies as well. And once you think about when you are following in this part, and naturally the digital transformation, as we talked about, it has can create 10x benefits. And what are the few benefits which we can think about it is that it can help you to get into the new markets, because what happens is that when you move in from an offline to a digital environment, naturally your cost of reaching out to your target customers would be negligibly small. So naturally, it can help you to reach to new markets, create visibility, and also create new avenues for revenue. And from the manufacturing or operations logistics perspective, it can reduce cost with respect to connected machines or efficiency increase in the quality of the product so that the wastage is less. And there are various reasons. So I'm not here talking about specific technologies because these technologies are only enablers. But once you start thinking about what why you have identified, and if your business falls in it, when you are ready to transform the business, the benefits of digital transformations are many. So this is what is the reality it's going to be in the next coming decade. There are only two types of businesses: those that are already digital, they have some form of adoption of digital, and those that soon will be. So if you are not considering digital as a part of your business strategy, naturally you will be having a larger challenge to existential crisis to face in the coming years as well. So these are some of the facts I would like you to consider it as you start thinking about how or why you need a digital transformation is your organization is ready. So next, let me move on to the fact is that what is this digital transformation. So we know that it is very important. We need to consider what the business needs to be move in for a digital transformation. Is this something we can afford? Is this going to be a very costly affair? Is it like we need to really wait for multi years to gain the business benefits? These are some of the questions that can come into your mind. And from let me just take an example which is not completely related to your textile industry, but rather which is a very which is not, which is a common problem which is faced by everyone. So in a healthcare, if you really see in a world, this was a case which was a real in reality it happened as to how the complex problem was solved. So I'm just going to take few minutes to explain this. So millions of peoples across the world are blind and visually impaired. But however, it's found that 80% of them are treatable or even preventable with timely medications. But in developed nations or even developing nations, we all have access to the facilities, and then the rates are it can be prevented, and sometimes majority of the time it's also treated. But in places like Africa, what happens is that where they have very remote places, and then each settlements are quite far off, in such kind of situations it's very difficult for healthcare providers to go and then have the people travel. So if they have to travel to city or town and visit these eye care clinics, it is quite cumbersome, number one. And number two, it's also there is with the lack of travel facilities, it was really a nightmare for all the people. Then Dr. Andrew, who was seeing this problem and then was thinking about how we can solve the problem. And this is definitely in Africa. Till very recently, the number of people who could be treatable and then who could gain really a vision with a proper treatment was very less. But he brought out a solution which was very simple to address this complex problem. What he did was that in Africa, a lot of mobile adoption was growing up. So what he did was that he invented a small portable eye examination kit which can sit on a small smartphone. So the smartphone is carried by many people, any people, I think, with the smartphone adoption. With this particular small invention, the person, instead of patients coming to the healthcare town to examine, the people used to go even in the remote corner. And it's also had a small storage, so which could have storage system. So whatever the specific eye related data, when it just scans a person's eye, it gets registered, and when they get a network, it gets updated in the central server. With this simple solution, what he was able to achieve is that he was able to solve a very very complex problem of having a lot of people travel to cities and towns, or even without, if that is not possible, losing the eyesights and all. And he could address these challenges with this solution. And this solution did not cost really much, rather it was about thinking about what is the actual problem it needs to be solved, then seeing what possibilities are existing in the technology and how we can connect different things together. So with these as an insight, what is a digital transformation? It's about solving a complex business challenges and with leveraging one or more combinations of different technology. So the technologies could be, it could be a mobile phone, it could be your laptop, it could be your iPads, or whichever is the case. And the second one is, it could be a mobile application, or it could be some cloud, or whichever is the technology, or even ERP, depending on what is it that it is. And finally, you have a network connectivity. So by combining few different aspects of technology, we would be able to come up with a simple solution for any of the complex challenges. So it means that you don't really need to think about a digital transformation need to be only through a huge amount of investments to modernize your business. It can start with understanding very simple business challenges, address the low hanging fruit, have more gains, and then build on top of it. And that's the approach it works. And when you start with digital transformation, it also has the ability to transform your customer facing, which I call it as a front stage, where whichever is the place where you are looking at, it could be an e-commerce portal, or it could be virtual shops, it could be the way your customer service team responds from a physical to an automated way. Or it's also from a backstage process, it could be your manufacturing modernization, or it could be manufacturing process modernization, or it could be simple automation of system to having a paperless factory. There are various ways which can have a huge amount of benefits. It can have both from a customer facing functions as well as the backstage, or which is the processes perspective as well. And what are, from a business point of view, what are all the various areas where the digital transformation has an impact? Is that we the initiatives can be from improving the production efficiency, growing the business, improving the sales, or entering a new market, optimizing your supply chain, launching new products, and product quality as well. And all these things, if it starts from customers and then your internal stakeholders, peoples, and your operations and strategy. So you need to really, you can integrate the digital transformation as a whole. We need to think about it. It should not be looked at purely from a software or a small solution perspective. So we talked about till now what is, why one need to think about digital transformation, and what is it can we think about having a simple approach, and then how it affordable it can be. Now I'm going to talk about how one should really go about digital transformation. There is always a question that can come: is my business is in need of ERP solution? Is my Do I need to really go in for a cloud, or do I need to collect the data? These are the immediate questions many of us, many of the business leader will have it. But let me tell you this: this is instead of thinking from a pure software or a solution perspective, what is important is that we need to see that technology is an enabler today. And today the world is available with all knowledge, and then it's abundant of resources are there. And you ask for any technology about anything latest, it can be made available in any parts of the world. But what is important is that focus on the business problems to be solved. Now, once you know that what is the business problem you understand, you solve, then it will be easy for you to come out with a strategy and also an execution plan as to what solution you need to, what technologies you need to go about it, and what are the business objective one needs to go for it. This can be uh, possible. So let me just explain this with a real life case we worked with in manufacturing organization. So it was a customer in Europe. His problem was, as you know, that of course it's not the problem with in our country, but in general, his problem was having to monitor his workforce, and with the lack of availability of employees, the challenge was to measure the workforce efficiency. Are they able to, are they performing as expected? Are they clocking the number of hours efficiently? Is the product output is as per the expected agreements and so? So he was not really having a way. Is there a possibility that the employees go out and spend a little bit more time in coffee, tea, or those kind of things? So he wanted to really monitor these workforce efficiency. Now, the challenge is that this problem, if it is a workforce efficiency, it can be simply addressed by clocking or recording the work, the amount of time people spend at actual work and all. So we wanted to really understand what exactly what the customer wants to achieve through this initiative. So we brought in different stakeholders across different departments, from production and sales and operations and finance teams, and to understand what will happen if they don't really measure the workforce. And then the reality started to understand that we identified there are various challenges they are facing. One is about having not having really a real time information of the production. The second is about having a lot of outdated production inventory with no track of work in progress as well, and a lot of paper movement which used to happen, which any one place it gets stuck. Naturally, the information does not get passed to the next next department. And there's also one component which is workforce efficiency, and also it's to see that whether there is any resource or tool tracking and inability to track them, where it gets stuck on. And at the end of the day, when the production is delayed, naturally the customers need to be informed. But however, the sales team was not able to really figure out where exactly these at what stage the production is. At the same time, the finance was also not really having the information about the cost. So they had a backbone system. So what we did was that we came up with these kind of different challenges. So from workforce efficiency, it was more about much more about information availability, tracking of materials, resource utilization, and paper and all. So we came up with a holistic solution of integrating, and came up with a simple mobile application which works on top of the backend system, which could be able to help them in terms of not just tracking the workforce efficiency, but also had the ability to give real-time visibility on operations and then stages of productions and workforce. And it also eliminated the quite a good amount of paper-based processes as well. And finally, the customers was able to see in increase in productivity and reduce need for paperwork, and save time on with respect to wastage of operations as well. And what we are saying here is that instead of seeing that when you want to solve a single problem, instead of just solving one problem in an isolated way, try to see that what impacts it creates. So holistically, you need to really think about putting together all the people to understand what it is, and then how you can better think about this as solving from a holistic point of view, rather than a simple or a simple one departmental issue as well. So here the question which I would like all of us to reflect is that in the last few years, how many of the initiative you have launched recently have delivered a clear outcome within the cost and quality, and also increase the competitive advantage? So this is something which determines the holistic way in which till now we are approaching the not just the digital transformation, any initiative that we undertake on the uh, business as well. So if you can reflect on this and then think about it, as that how many of the initiatives that you had a clear outcomes delivered within cost and quality, and also increased your competitive advantage. So that is something which for you to reflect as well. So, keeping this, having said about that, is it going to be how one need to think about approaching, and also any digital transformation initiative is not a technology initiative, rather it is a company or a business initiative. It has to be come from the top, and include every stakeholder. And also, when you are into digital transformation, we are all in a very nascent stages. We are transforming the business. There is a lot of things which is a lot of unknowns. In fact, even a larger organization, when they go about digital transformation, they also are getting into a place where there are a lot of learnings which happens on the go. So it is important that when you start the any transformation initiative, don't look at from a technology point of view, rather think about what you want to achieve in the next 5 years of transforming the business from where you are. And that is where your digital vision comes into picture. And then you think about how you want to reach there, which is a strategy, and what initiatives which can get you there. And sometimes what happens is that there can be n number of initiatives which you can come, but you need to prioritize which can, the first priority could be a low hanging fruit, or a very complex or a market demands which you need to take up, which can help you to go to the next level rather than having a big bang approach. And the last but not the least is that you need to also do a pilot, because what happens is that as we learn, and rather than going in a big bang approach, you need to do in a small controllable one where you are able to test different parameters, and once it works you can always scale up. So this is a by and large overall approach as to how you should think about your digital journey. And when you really see about it is that at the end of the day, every organization always interact with the external world, which is basically what is happening in your external environment, in the value chain that you are in, who are the new players are coming, what kind of a technology impact it is creating. And these are the first thing that need to be analyzed, and what are the, which can give you what are the different problems that is to be solved. So this is the first step of approaching a digital transformation. We call this as a fit approach, basically getting yourself fit for changing the external environment. So once you assess and understand the different impact of the technologies, which could be any of the things like ERP, cloud, big data, all the things, along with, in conjunction with how your value chains are changing, and then think about, in for your customer base, it can be your internal customers who are employees and suppliers, and also your customers, what would be the initiative, what kind of a problem when you solve it makes the customer's willingness to pay, which is also other way to look at, which enhances the customer's likability, and the people will be happy to work with you. That is what, and how you can do it at a much lower cost. And this two are the places where you think about what are the different digital initiatives which you come in. So what initiatives which you can take up, which can enhance your customers value perception of your products and services, and also when you are executing or when you are translating that value proposition, how you can create those solutions, products or services at much lesser cost, leveraging different digital technologies. And that's where the different kinds of solutions software comes into picture. And finally, once you decide and zero in on based on different priorities, what you do is that you assess your internal capabilities are available, and also what capabilities need to be built or partnered with. Because as you are getting into the digital transformation, these are also about new skills that needs to be built. And also it need not be that you will have to have all the skills that is needs to be available for digital transformation in house. And you need to also, because building it, number one, it could take time, number two, it's also could be costly. So how do you address, what, how can you leverage the ecosystem of partners to help you reach your goal? And when you are getting your strategy to be fit, there are certain new in behaviors and new factors that you need to consider. The initiatives that you are taking should be customer focused, and what value that the problem that you are addressing, is it validated by the customer? And here the customers can be internal customers if it is about manufacturing, if you're focusing on production logistics, and these are the aspects. So, or if it is external, if it is about how you are able to reach the customer, serve the customer. So what problems the customers are facing, is it validated? And unless this problem that is solving is either a painkiller or it enhance the overall overall life of the customers in a better way, the initiative should be rethought as well. So that is the number one behavioral aspect which we need to have it in a to have a digital mindset. The second one is that whether we know each organization, as we said, that every organization will be a digital enterprise in the coming decade. So building this tech savvy, it's not that you need to be a kind of become a programmer or a developer, but understanding at a at a strategic level, what impacts, what benefits each technology can have on your business, be it artificial intelligence, be it automation, or ERP. Each has its own impact on the business, and understanding at a strategic level can help you in terms of thinking about what kind of a problems which we are solving, and what should be the goals and outcomes we need to set when we are going into the digital transformation initiative. This is the second behavior. The third one is we are getting into an era where things will be changing. There, it needs to be that the industry landscape will be changing quite frequently. Even your customers' preferences changes and needs changes. So what happens is that whenever you start any digital transformation initiative, it is important to be mindful about changing environment and how quickly you can adapt and learn and then incorporate that in your business. So this is another important part of new behavior which we need to inculcate in organization. And finally, the collaboration. As we said that not all the capabilities that you need in the organization will be available to you as you go forward. Probably you would have at some point of time in the future, but not on the day one. So this is where you need to really see that, take stock of what is your organization's core capabilities are, and take stock of what is possible or what needs to be outsourced, or what kind of a partnership which you need to enable, and who are the people whom you need to talk about. So these are the some of the important new thinking we need to inculcate to be successful in digital era. So, just to wrapping it up, I would like to take a few minutes to talk about nicheBrains. So, what we do is that ours is a digital consulting platform, and what we thought is that as we are getting into the digital era, a lot of micro, small, medium enterprises have the vision and ambitions and need to go through this transformation. But however, neither they have an internal expertise nor really have an access to the global digital experts. So what we provide is through our platform nichebrains.ai, we connect the MSME leaders like you with a curated certified digital transformation experts who can help in the various the various business segments, from customer service to sales to production and logistics across different domains, and also work on an on-demand short burst of engagement which can be vary from as less as 1 hour consultation to kind of 6 months project. So that's the thing. And in our platform, we have a global digital transformation experts, and it's also based on your need. We match with the right experts, and which helps in terms of reducing your search time, because most of the time what happens is that when you are engaging an external consultant, the challenge is that is the consultant capable enough to deliver our project. So this is always the major question that we had from our customers. So each consultant who onboarded with us from a digital perspective or accredited by us, so we also stand guarantee for the results as well. So that's from our side. And before we close, what is important is that it's always very easy for every one of us to just run fast and then launch a lot of new initiatives, so that we have that fear of missing out syndrome. Instead of that, you can always take a small steps, but walk in the right direction where you are able to realize the business benefits as well. And finally, I hope that I was able to, in the last 20 minutes or so, I was able to take some time and then to stress the need for why the organization likes yours need to go for digital transformation, and also was able to communicate that you don't really need to think about a big budget, big ticket item. You can always start at a very small way and gain leverage technologies. There are various ways in which you can always leverage technologies for a business benefit once you understand the problem to be solved. And that is where your accessibility to having the right expertise and what kind of a problems that you are trying to address on a priority basis can help in terms of getting benefit in the digital era and help you become a true digital enterprise. And finally, you can always contact us for any help, and there is a small link which is there which can help you to assess based on this particular presentation. We have formed the simple questionnaire And we also, because of this association, we would also like to offer 2 hours of complimentary consulting with all the leading the digital experts of your choice. Once you come on come on our platform, a free complimentary consulting on any areas from strategy to operations to sales and marketing, whichever area which you have a challenge which you want to discuss, we would be happy to connect you with the right match with the right consultant who will be of help to you as well. So thanks a lot for the opportunity, and I would love to help in terms of answering whichever questions that you have now. I'm opening it for any questions that you would like to pose it as well.